The Met Line is the most important train line in the world. It goes to the furthest places. It started all of this, but it used to be so much better. So what happened? Well, it's all thanks to our good friends, history and capitalism. Let me explain. It opened in 1863 and was the world's first ever underground railway. Parliament had banned stations in the middle of the city, so you had this ring of stations around the edge instead. To go to Birmingham, you'd go to Euston. To go to Doncaster, you go to King's Cross. And to go to Norwich, right, no one wants to go to Norwich. That meant if you wanted to move freight or goods or people, you'd have to bring them on the train, get off the train and move it all to the next station and then get back on. And it took ages. So the Metropolitan Railway was the answer, and it opened in 1863 between Paddington and Farringdon. It was incredibly successful, bringing in shareholders roughly 10% a year. So of course, it expanded, reaching Richmond and Finsbury Park and even Rotherhithe over the next 50 years. Well, the next logical point from that, of course, is to expand to, say, Sheffield or Manchester. Why not establish Zone 214? Once you've reached Zone 3, you're basically halfway there anyway. This isn't a joke. Edward Watkin, the director of the Grand Central Railway in 1893, got permission from Parliament to connect his Grand Central Railway between Sheffield and Manchester to the Met Line. So why didn't he build it? Why can't we get the Met Line to Sheffield? The line is currently over 40 miles long. It stretches way out into Buckinghamshire. But that just raises two more questions. Where did it used to go, and how on earth did it get out quite so far? So in the early 20th century, you could catch a train from Baker Street to Verney Junction, over 50 miles away. It was by far the most remote station on the London Underground. And that was where Watkin was going to join his railways together. But of course, Baker Street didn't have capacity, so instead he builds a new terminus, which we now call Marylebone. Sadly, the trains to Verney Junction were stopped in 1933 when the Met Line trains were incorporated into the London Underground. But Ali, why did it go so far in the first place is the better question here. Because it made a ton of cash. Now, surprisingly, not many people wanted to go to Verney Junction or to Chesham, but they did want houses. In the 20s, there was a huge demand for houses. I think I've heard this one before. And due to a quirk in the 1860s planning permission of the original Met Line, they were the only railway in London that could develop the land after they'd bought it for the train line. The rest of them had to sell it back. And this meant they could essentially make houses on areas with new demand from new residents to commute into London. So those long stretching branches to Amersham or Watford meant serious cash. It was undeveloped rural countrysides and villages. To slap a station down and then build rows upon rows of lovely new houses meant a lot of money. So all those stations, Uxbridge, Amersham, Chesham, Chalfont and Latimer, exist because it was a brand new set of new builds for a burgeoning, is it Edwardian? For a burgeoning post-war economy. We essentially had the first ever new build advertising campaign decades before Foxtons ever existed. So let me know in the comments if you want to see more of this kind of video. Please do like and follow for more history content, and I'll see you very soon.